Hey teachers, I've got a great new technique for you. My school system this year has really been pushing like a class agenda thing for each class to have so that our students kind of know like what the plan is for each day, but it's something that should kind of always be the same. Even though I was really reluctant at first to do this and I thought, oh, it's just another one of those things, it has turned out to be a really positive thing in my classroom, and that's why I wanted to share it with you so that if you wanted to try incorporating it, you could and would have some great ideas to get started. Okay, so you can see at the front of my classroom, I have this great little chart and it just says art and then expectation met. And I have 8 categories: entering class, Panther Prep, which is like our do now, roll call, lesson and discussion, supplies and setup, work time, cleanup, and then lineup and review. And so basically these little magnets that I have stuck to the door, I will move those. If they come in quietly, they can earn a point. Sometimes, depending on the teacher that brings them, they may come rowdy. They may have just come from recess or from lunch. And so sometimes they enter the art room a little bit louder than you would like. And so this has been great because on the first day of art this year, I talked to students about my expectation for how they would enter. And I told them, you know, you come in quietly, you go straight to where your seat is. And so that expectation was clear. And then on the chart, I just go ahead and I put a magnet on there, so that if they did that, they've earned a point for their class for that day. The next step is Panther Prep, and this is another thing that our school system has pushed, and it's really just a do now. We gave it a name at our school, but this means that upon entering my classroom, they know to enter quietly, and then they know that they have some work to begin on right away. And I have buckets with whiteboards in it for this. Ours has to be like, it's literacy based, so they have to do a type of writing. It would be really nice if it could be like art based more, and they could draw or start off with some activity. And so you could do that in your classroom, and that would be a neat thing. But they come in, and I have a student from each table who is assigned to be like the bucket helper. And they essentially just grab the bucket of whiteboards on the way to their seat, hand them to the students, and then up front on the board, they have a short assignment. And it, like if you did it like an art-based assignment, it could be draw 3 examples of different patterns. But anyways, they have their do now where they either answer a question or draw something, and that gets them working quietly. If they complete their do now without prompting and do it quietly, they get another point. I call roll while they're working on that do now, which is really convenient. As long as they're quiet, not being silly when I call their names, they can earn another point there. And then, you know, we talk about behaviors during lesson and discussion, and as long as they are participating and being quiet when it's my turn to talk, they earn another point. Supplies and setup, I have certain helpers. If they do their job and the class cooperates and we get it done quickly, that's another one. For work time, if they are following directions and doing what's expected, it's another one. Same for cleanup. And then if they participate in our review and line up quietly at the end, they get another one. The beautiful thing about all this is that during class, if I have a class who is having a difficult day doing the right thing, I can say, hey guys, we have already lost 2 points. You know, Miss So-and-so's class has already got this many. We want to keep up. And it really kind of reels them back in, and they think, oh goodness, we've got to get on track, and it kind of helps. Another great thing is when you have a class who's doing good and you go over and start moving those magnets, you can say, guys, we've got 5 points in a row today. Y'all are doing an awesome job. And so you can reward them. So this kind of makes me be more accountable to my students for their behavior, to remind them where they're at and how they're doing, and keep that as an ongoing conversation during class. So I really, really like this. If they get all 8 points as a class in a day, I give them 2 bonus points, which is equal to a total of 10. And then I record it over here on my class incentives chart, and that's where I keep up with how much each class has earned. And then here are their incentives. Once they get to 30 points, we get to have gum during class. You'll see I have this nice gumball machine over here, which is a nice visual reminder to them to try to earn that 30 points. The next one, 60 points, they get to choose their seat. And so when they come in, they normally have assigned seats, but they can choose for that day to sit anywhere they would like to in the classroom. Game day, when they get to 90 points, we do things like they can play charades, we can do Pictionary or like art bingo for the last 15 minutes of class so that we're not taking away too much instructional time. 110 points, they get 15 minutes of free time where I have supplies laid out where they can like make a card for somebody or do free draw and things like that. 130 points, they get to vote on like a special lesson. It could be like they get to do air dry clay, or we get to go outside and do some splatter paint, or they get to use the gold and silver paint because they all like that. That's a big deal, so they like that one. 150 points means they get to have a pop party, and we get to do things like popsicles, popcorn, pop rocks, pop tarts, anything that has pop in it, popsicles. And so they think that's fun. I let them vote on a couple of things to bring, and they get to do that. Those things at the end do cost some money. That's why they have to earn a lot more points. It's a lot harder to fit it into a school year unless they earn like that perfect score almost every time. But that way they really have some incentives to work toward, and this helps keep them on track. So I hope you found this helpful. Of course, you could change up those 8 categories. It doesn't have to be the 8 that I have. Find what works for your subject, for your classroom, and make it work for you. But I found the little magnetic whiteboard is a great way to do it and to use it throughout class to help keep your kids on track. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.